Hey, what's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And I'm fired up. I just got off of a training here, kicking a decade in a day workshop off for all of our clients. If you don't know that or what that is, it's a special workshop where we take a decade of our knowledge and try our best to download it into your heads in a matter of a few hours, and that is exclusive to all of our Blueprint students. And so if you can attend that training, we'd love to have you. We do it every 2 weeks, and we start at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. And so I'm already warmed up, my friends. I got the vocal cords, la, 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 la. They're warmed up. Okay, I got the coffee. As a matter of fact, I got 2 cups over here. I hardly touched it, so I got 2 damn near full cups over here. And I am ready to talk to our guest this morning, Amanda. She's got a unique and amazing story that I'm sure many of you can relate to, former elementary teacher. She's going to be sharing some of her game-changing social media growth tips, share her story of overcoming challenges, just like all of us, to be able to get to this point in life, but also to get off her business off the ground and experience success in this particular business with some experience in network marketing previous to this, which I always love because I'm a former network marketer, maybe reformed, I don't know, call it what you want. But with that being said, can't wait to talk to Amanda. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Where are you calling in from?
Pennsylvania.
Okay, Pennsylvania. Well, that is a real pleasure to have a Pennsylvanian on the show. I used to drive down to Erie from New York to the Erie outlet malls and shop in Erie, Pennsylvania with my aunt when I was young, when I used to go up there for the summer. And of course your Phillies, your Eagles, all the things. Philadelphia's or Pennsylvania is a great state. So welcome. So tell us, Amanda, what brought you to Legendary Marketer? What were you looking for, and have you found what you were looking for?
Yes. So this is going to sound cheesy, but I really think it was like fate that led me to Legendary because I had been an elementary teacher for 6 years and I loved it. I loved my job and I loved my kids so much. But I had started off as a single mom and I could really put a lot into my job as well. And then over the next coming years after I had started, I met my husband and then I had 2 more babies, 2 under 2. And then I was virtual teaching and it all just became a whole lot. And last year and the year before that, there were just a lot of kiddos that I wanted to just squeeze and take home with me, and I couldn't. And so when I would come home, it was such a huge dynamic between like loving on all of these kids all day and then also picking up that energy and being the best mom that I wanted to be. And it would be like 3 hours that I would have with my own babies. And I finally was like, I worked so hard to get this teaching job. The junior in college when I had my son, and I finished on time with a psychology degree, but I fell in love with teaching as I was something called a TSS. And so I would go into the schools with clients with behavioral issues and teach them. And so I saw what these teachers were doing and I was like, I want to do that. So I went back to school, night school, and got my teaching degree. And so that's how that came to be. But yeah, so this June I resigned. And I was like, I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom. However, I had a pretty steady income and pretty awesome health insurance for the whole family. So I was like, I have got to do something to help, because we're doing pretty well right now. And so I honestly just prayed and prayed and prayed, and like was open to things. And I was searching through like Instagram and Facebook for all these ways to make money online. And I tried everything, like transcription, like audio, voice reading, because I love to read books, and so many things. And then it was at like the perfect moment, and Caroline, her video came up, and she like acted, she was dancing, and then she talked about how like in this amount of time she just put in the consistent work, and she learned the skills, and she showed up, and then she like reaped all these rewards from it. And I was like, what is this? And it was really late at night. It was like, oh my gosh, maybe like 1 a.m. I couldn't sleep. I'm like looking up all these ways to make money. And I click on it, and then Dave, you pop up, and then I listen to your video, and I'm like, this is it. This is absolutely it. I just knew immediately. And so the next day I signed up for it, the 15-day challenge, and I was obsessed from the start. I just started trying to go through it and through it and through it. And I scheduled my meeting with my advisor, my business advisor, and it was like 2 weeks out. And I was like, this cannot do. So I email Legendary, and then they let me know his information, and I email him, and I'm like, can I get in earlier? He's like, yes, okay. I have an opening here. This person canceled. So I was able to go through it pretty quickly, and I gained so much from it. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I have like a list of books that I wanted to maybe mention, but that one was one that I had never really had delved into before. And so that was part of the challenge, that I was like, wow, okay. I keep talking, so.
No, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. This is good stuff. And I think that a lot of people can relate to, well, I mean, your challenges with teaching, I think, are very unique to teachers. Um, Maybe nurses can probably also relate to that, but I'm sure you saw a lot of, especially going through the pandemic, kids that, as you said, you wanted to give a big old hug and take them home. And I'm sure you see a lot of things that are heart-wrenching, and that can be a big, very emotionally draining on somebody who then also has to come home and doesn't have to, but wants to come home and be with her family or his family. And so I think any one of us who have ever worked a job that is draining can identify with those feelings. And I think it's one of the reasons why our community is blowing up and has blown up, is because people are really ready for significant change. And they also don't want to go back to, the pre-pandemic days are over. I mean, we're all ruined in a way or changed forever, because we experienced what it was like to be home, and going back is now a lot. It's a lot after spending, the pandemic for a lot of people brought them closer to their families, because it was more time. Now, they may have had cabin fever, but it was more time than they had ever spent with their family. And so then going back and being away from them and realizing how much you are away from them and how little energy you have when you get home for them, depending on how draining your job is something that I believe is a real epidemic right now. It's a real movement. It's a real rebellion, whatever you want to call it, but it is happening, and it is in full swing. And so with this newfound realization and also action that you took with resigning from your job, as you started to be new at something, go through our challenge, I think you invested in our blueprints. I mean, you were clearly and are clearly all in. What were some of the things that you had to overcome mentally to do this? Because now you're working at home. You're needing to set boundaries at home. You're needing to manage your time at home, which, as much as you may have had it going to the classroom, had its downsides for you eventually, there was still some clear separation between church and state, right? You would go there, do your work, you would come home. So now you're combining these two elements of church and state, for lack of better terms, work and family. What were some of the limiting beliefs you had to deal with? What were some of the boundary issues you had to deal with? How is it different for you than your employment?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, similarly, um, I'm a go-getter and a dreamer, and um, it's hard sometimes to be like, Amanda, put everything down and just go be present with your family. But I feel like this time of my life, because of this, I am able to do that more than ever, beyond more than ever. And when I do put in, like my work, which is during the cracks of motherhood, like during nap time or before they wake up or at nighttime, or even if they're like watching like a movie for a little bit, I feel like I'm able to really be happy and present and take care of myself and do the things that make me grow as a person, like morning routines and like working out and all of these things that I wasn't really able to do before. I'm able to do now. So I feel like even though I'm not separated with physically going to work, doing the work is so much a part of like the fun of who I am and the creative side of who I am, that it honestly it doesn't feel like work to me. I really just love it. And there's so much to explore that I have to really slow down and make sure that I'm Amanda, master this skill first, and then we'll slowly move into this and into that. But my ideas are just like, and all of the things and opportunities that even recently that Dave, you've come out with. Yesterday, I was listening to you speak about digital courses, and I was just like, all these ideas. So I'm so excited for that. But little by little, I'll get there.
Yeah, for sure. And I love your attitude. I mean, a lot of this just boils down to attitude. I just got off of, as I said, a decade and a day kickoff for our workshop that we do every other Friday for our Blueprint students. And, one of my messages to them this morning was that, we are our own problem. We are our biggest enemy. It's not society. It's not who's the president. It's not, some secret Illuminati. It's not, it's not even your employer. It's not your wife. It's not your husband. It's not your family. It's not your friends. Our attitude and the responsibility that we take over our lives is the problem. And if we take no responsibility, we will have no freedom. Freedom comes with responsibility. And it also comes with choosing to have a good attitude, a positive attitude. Learning if you were raised around a bunch of cynical, negative people, learning, well, that's my limiting belief. That's my character defect. That's where I need to focus my attention and work on one or two things at a time. If as you're going through our curriculum, as you're reading maybe a book that we recommend, as you're listening to a training, something will come up that really resonates with you, and you'll say, "Ooh, that hits home." And the key is to stay with that. If you realize that you have a bad attitude, or you realize that you do play the victim a lot, it's important to stay with that, to not just know about it. The awareness is so important, but
Mm.
also to work on it. It's this beautiful opportunity to be able to work on these very key elements of our personality and character that are what is going to determine our success. And I can tell by your attitude that, well, I can tell by your attitude, you are successful and are going to be successful. You describe yourself as that, as that way anyways. But for everybody who's listening who wonders, what is the secret? We're going to get into some mechanical strategies here in a moment, but the mechanics are really only the tip of the iceberg. The dynamics, as I like to call them, are the large part of the iceberg under the water that you don't see, that move the iceberg, that are the majority of the iceberg. But because the mechanics are only the tip of the iceberg that we see on top of the water, we put so much attention and focus on that. And the truth is, my friends, it's only a small part of being successful as an entrepreneur and also being successful as a digital marketer. So what are some of the things that you bumped up against, or what are some of your things that you're working on that you are aware of yourself through this process that you need to be, for example, getting on video? Was that a challenge for you? Caring what people think, was that a challenge for you? Comparing yourself to other successful marketers you see out there, was that a challenge for you? What has been your kryptonite, and what are some of the things that you are aware of that you need to look out for that are potential landmines in the way of your journey to success with this?
Yeah. Well, all of those things, all of those limiting beliefs that you mentioned, I've dealt with. I mean, I deal with all of them all of the time. And a couple of years ago, I think it was 2021, I went to Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within. And I really learned some skills there that have been helping me, where when you just need to act, you need to physically change your energy, you need to act, you just need to go and do it. Um, and so I've definitely been working in that aspect, in really nurturing myself as a person, and um, thinking about appreciation and gratitude, and really grounding myself in those things when I feel like, oh my gosh, well, they've seen the success so quickly, why am I not? And I mean, it does, you can get down and you can feel worrisome and think, if this isn't going to work for me for a little bit, but if you just keep pushing through, um, reading things that fill your mind, and grow you, listening to podcasts and personal development constantly. Dave, you have something really awesome that you offer that I listen to often. I think it's like the $1 Million Mindset, and that is so helpful. Um, but in the times where I really doubt myself, um, I just think about my why, like my family, why I'm doing this, where I'm going. I visualize it. I see myself already there. Um, and I just keep trucking along over here.
Yeah, beautiful, wonderful. You mentioned in the little questionnaire that we sent you when we asked you to come on that some of the things that you're getting some great results with are practicing a morning routine. What does that look like for you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So it's a little bit of a modified routine, like the Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. Um, I I wake up before everybody else, um, and I do a gratitude journal, and it says things like 5 things I appreciate today, and I write them down. 3 things I want to achieve today, and I make them achievable. Like, I am going to do this no matter what. 3 things I want the universe to achieve for me. And then you think about all of these things that you want to give thoughts to, like your loved ones, your work, your food, your body, your home. And then you visualize, I feel so happy and blessed. My life is really, really good. I am happy where I am and reaching for more. And then I do a stretch. I read 10 pages of the book that I'm on. Right now I'm reading Memory Making Mom. It's amazing. And I journal a little bit. I often take into account what Chelsea said about money manifestation affirmations, and I've now adapted that into my routine. So I'm now writing those down into my journal every morning. And when I find myself thinking another way, I go back to those affirmations, like money flows to me easily. And so my morning routine is really just getting my body, my mind, my energy, myself just ready, because being a mom is crazy and all consuming. And so really gotta get that stuff, like figured out and done, so that I don't have to worry, and I can just sometimes be super present in the moment. And it's fun to do. So
Yeah. Well, that's great. I love that you found a morning routine that works for you. I mean, I just roll out of bed, pick a dirty shirt up off the floor, and just go live. Grab a cup of coffee. Have a little RX bar. Um, this is my kind of morning. Nourishment. It's a wonderful little, I'm not an affiliate. I should be. I've been talking about these damn things for, years, but, yeah, I've got different flavors of them too. They're sitting right here. You'll notice something about me if you look back over, my son, he just turned 3 the other day. He eats these as well. The ingredients are literally on the thing: 3 egg whites, 7 almonds, 4 cashews, 2 dates, no BS. Good stuff.
wow,
I drink water in the morning, Mountain Valley. You'll always see me with a sparkling water, right? And I like some coffee. Got myself a coffee, uh, and I keep my morning routine very simple. I keep it really simple. I try to at this point, get up and get my work done in the morning, because that's when, as we get older, that's when the majority of our energy is. And, if you crash in the afternoon, typically at your job, well, be an entrepreneur, work from home, and work in the morning and take a damn nap in the afternoon. I mean, it's pretty easy, especially when my 3-year-old son, for example, on the weekends goes down for a nap. Well, hey, guess what? It's nap time, baby. I mean, I'm laying down. I'm catching me some Z's if I need to. I think it's really important that we find a morning routine that works for us. I also love the fact that you're speaking what you want and who you want to be into existence. This is so important. I just also talked about this morning with our Blueprints group on Decade in a Day. So many of it, and I see this in our community all the time, and it's just a small tweak that we all can make when we announce our struggle to everybody. Well, I'm struggling, I'm struggling. The more that you announce your struggle and live in your struggle and declare your struggle and speak your struggle into existence, the more it's going to stick to you like sticky rice. Struggle is a weird thing. The more we announce it and sit in it and live in it, the more we tend to believe that we can't change it. Instead of, as you mentioned, one of the things that you learned from going to the Tony Robbins event, emotion follows motion. It's one of his sayings. And, you can very easily act yourself into a new way of thinking or feeling. I promise you. You go and you create a video and you post it and you clean an area of your house, clear out your wallet, do something nice for yourself, and you will feel better instantly. But it's it's a challenge. Sometimes we feel like we don't know where to start, and it's like you start wherever you can start. You start in the middle. You start towards the end. Starting where you start doesn't matter. That you start matters. And I think that overcoming that perfectionism is a real challenge for a lot of people. Are you a perfectionist? And if so, how do you deal with not over criticizing yourself? And even if you're not, how do you hit post? How do you hit send with your emails? How do you not over critique? I'm sure as a teacher and a major in psychology, you're an analyst at the very least. You analyze things. So how do you not over analyze your marketing and your business to the point to where it becomes paralysis by analysis?
Yeah, I think I've definitely dealt with that. And it comes down to just changing your mindset and trial and error. I'm just gonna go for it and just see how it goes. It's okay if it doesn't go well, and if people think something differently of me, because like just grounding yourself in who you really are and authentically showing who you are in your content makes it easier to hit post, because it's a part of who you are, and it makes you vulnerable, of course, but when you have like a gift to share, when you have something to give to other people, and you let that also be a driving force for you, I think that helps in the just acting and getting yourself out there and coming out of your comfort zone, and hitting play and not caring how it's received, but just going for it every single day consistently.
So you also mentioned something about self-care and mindset. What does that mean for you, and how does it relate inside of your life and business now with this?
Oh yeah, sure. Um, I feel like ever since I was very, very young, I've always been working on mindset and words, and I love the power of words. So I have this book that is like filled with all sorts of quotes and lyrics or things that people have said that have moved me or have touched me in some way. And so I have like a collection of words here of my whole life. And I just, Dave, I forget what your question even was at that point.
Self-care and mindset,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
how is that important to you, and how has that helped you, or what are you focused on here in this chapter as you build this business?
yeah. So when you look at the beauty of things and you're collecting those thoughts, it helps you to continue to see and appreciate the good, and it helps you to keep going towards that path of clarity, and I'm going to make this dream come true.
Right.
So a big, 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 big thing is reading for me. I read all the time, and so I have the biggest library of personal development books, and I soak it all in and gain so much from that, and then I'm able to apply what I learn from that into my content, and into feeling confident enough to post it.
Mhm. Nice, nice. Well, I was just in a book fair this morning with my daughter when I dropped her off at school. She loves to read. We read every night before bed. We've done it all 7.5 years of her life. And I'm glad she's a reader, because I was never really a big reader growing up, but I still have had and have a hunger for personal development. I just learn in a different way than reading. I learn by experiencing, listening, talking. Um, and so I think, again, it's important for us all to get connected with what works for us and embrace that, and not shame ourselves thinking that we need to be like the next person, but be inspired by the fact that they have found what works for them, for us to find what works for us for that particular piece. If it's self-care, if it's morning routine, if it's, whatever it is. Let's talk a little bit about the mechanics, the marketing. You've reached, I believe, over 2 million people on Facebook over the last month, which is an incredible amount of people. If you think about, how much traditionally companies would have had to pay in order to reach 2 million people, it would be an astronomical advertising bill. But here we have the opportunity to be able to reach people for absolutely free when we learn these strategies. Talk to us about what's working for you right now on Facebook. What have you learned? And you can expand that over to Instagram, TikTok, any other platform you're on. But what is working for you? What have you learned? How are you reaching so many people?
Yeah. One thing is, I make sure at some point every single day I post something. And I make sure that it's something of value or something that will make someone smile, or something that I found really intriguing. And so I think other people might as well. And there's so many different skills and tactics and intricacies that you can learn to help you grow your social media. Even things like changing your profile picture every couple of weeks, and saying happy birthday to all of your friends every single day. I'm trying to think of all of the different ways. There's just so many. Going into different groups and typing in the search bar things that you're passionate about, and then joining those groups and finding other members on Facebook who you connect with, and finding people that are your tribe, and really attracting the people who are like you. Visually, people love to see things that pop out at them visually. So if when you're making something, you think after you make it, I would stop for this, then that's a great post. On Instagram, a big thing, and Facebook actually, Reels. Reels is a really untapped potential within Facebook. And then Instagram, there are so many key things that can help your growth. Like when you're creating a reel, if you block out time to just search through different other reels and find audios that intrigue you or interest you, and you click on them and you see the amount of people who have already used the audio. If you choose one that's under 4,000 and that has a lot of comments on the videos who have already used that audio, that always is a really great tactic. Stories, posting stories every single day, at least 2 to 3 of them, and using things like polls and questions. Lives are really big. Trying to think. Highlights. You really go through your highlights and key in on making them stand out and precise and really beneficial and valuable. On Facebook. Just I really just try to showcase like who I am as a person and my life and my personality, almost like a scrapbook, like an online scrapbook on Facebook and Instagram. And it seems people resonate and they understand the things I put, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things that you said a moment ago about when I find something that I love that resonates with me, I repurpose that in some way. And I think that's one of the easiest ways to create content. So many people are wondering, what do I create? Well,
Yeah.
a beginning point is, what do you like? What
Mhm.
fires you up? What are you excited about? I mean, clearly, whatever niche you're going into, 99.9% of you have a passion and interest, opinions about things in that niche. You're learning it. 99.9% of people go into a niche when they're beginning digital marketing that they are excited about. It's one of the reasons why we have a lot of people in the make money online and wealth niche and online business niche here at Legendary, is because people are trying to change their financial situation. They're excited about financial literacy. They're excited about entrepreneurship. They're excited about digital marketing. They're excited about creating wealth and in having investments and getting ahead and not living paycheck to paycheck. They realize that a lot of the system is broken and that they did their best and did all the right things, and still there wasn't enough time, money, energy, all of that left at the end of the day or the month. And so for those of you who are wondering, what kind of content should I create? Could I create? What should my first videos be? I think over the last week, we've really hit on some important things, such as, first of all, there's already people who are in your niche who are looking for your product, that if you can just put valuable nuggets with a clear path to get something for free that can give them answers quickly, that you can tap into people who are already ready to buy. You don't need to warm them up with your life story. You don't need to tell them your story incomplete. You may give out little bite-sized nuggets, but if you're going to do that, there better be a point to it. More than anything, people are looking for value. They're looking for quick value hookups, not to get married to your content or your profile. They want to see if what you have to say is valuable, and they're willing to give you a few seconds in order to hook them in and to deliver something that's educational or entertaining. And they really love both, which is what we call edutainment. So that's thing number one, tapping into the people who are already looking for stuff and not going into your content creation process in your first videos as if you're new. Just act as if you're already successful, deliver stuff as if you've been doing it already for years, and just join the party. If you walk into a party and everybody's already dancing and having fun, you don't say, "Hey guys, can we turn the lights on, everybody? I just wanted to say hello to everybody and let everybody know, sorry I'm late. Traffic was bad." No, you just go. You just, "Hey, how you doing? Nice to say. Give me a drink, right? I'll take a whatever." And when it's time to leave the party, one of the best ways to leave the party is not to announce it. Hell, then you're stuck there for another hour or two. It's to just leave, for God's sakes. Hey, see you later, right? I mean, that's kind of a party trick that a lot of us have learned over the years, is just find the door, right? Just go. Right? You don't need to make a big deal out of your entrance and exit. And to your point, talk about stuff that you're passionate, that you can easily talk about, that you have an understanding about for your initial content, or maybe even your ongoing content. I know that's still true for me 15 years later, because then you're going to be more passionate about it. It's going to sound more authentic. It's going to sound more natural. It's going to be more real for you. And it's probably going to come across more clear and powerful for them. Does that feel like it resonates? And reflecting back to what you said, does that feel like it fits in terms of your approach?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, Dave. Everything you said, definitely.
What have you learned about yourself through this process, Amanda, that you're being reminded of, or that you may have has been a new discovery about something that was within you or who you are?
Yeah. Um, so part of my story that is is a really large part of who I am. In high school, my high school sweetheart of years, our senior year, it was February. He passed in a car accident, and during that, I mean, I'm 34 now, so it was a long time ago. But during that time, I really did. I cared so much what people thought of me. Um, and as I grow and continue to get older and gain insight into deeper parts of who I am, I just I feel like I really can make this happen just by being who I am. And like you said, tapping into those things that I love and sharing that and being passionate about it. Um, and time goes so fast, so you have to really just think about, like, am I doing this out of love? Am I doing this out of fear? Um, and think about that time in such a precious way, because yeah, it goes sometimes so fast. And I just I've learned that I can become successful and create an income from home while also being a present mom and creative and doing the things I love. And so it's just like an all around dream. And little by little, I know the more I keep working at it and sticking with it, I mean, showing up gives you the success. I've seen it. So,
Mm.
um, super excited about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you are doing it. It's not even about you can, you already are. And
Mhm.
I think that for those of you who are watching and wondering, when will my time come? Well, it will come whenever you put forth the same sort of effort and energy and have the same attitude that every single person that's experienced success has. And in some ways, it can be very uncomfortable to mold yourself into a new person, to cut to brush up against and even bump up against your limiting beliefs, things that you've believed your whole life about yourself or about money or about success. There is a lot of people who grew up in families and in environments where being poor was noble, and being rich was evil, right? And it's like, oof, that might have been a limiting belief because now that's created a difficult life for some of us because of some of those, and that could be as sneaky as hearing things like money doesn't grow on trees around here. What do you think? What do you think? We're rich? We
Mhm.
can't afford stuff like that. We can't have stuff like that. What do you think? You're going to get a new pair of shoes every month, every year? Having very powerful people in our lives, particularly our parents, caregivers, family members, say things like that can leave an imprint forever. You spoke of a trauma that you experienced, and those can leave unbelievable imprints in our minds and memories and mold who we are as people, mold our entire belief systems. And um, it is a challenge to bump up against those. But entrepreneurship, there's been two things that I've experienced in my life more than anything else that have allowed me to bump up into those things. I think three. Number one is recovery, getting clean from drugs and alcohol. Number two was romantic relationships. And number three is entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
Obviously, being a father is probably, I could round out that with those four things with being a father. But um, these are the things in life at the end of our lives we will look back on and that will matter, not what somebody thought about on social media or a comment that they left or whatever. Who even knows what social media is going to look like in 10 or 20 years? It's probably going to be evolved and so different that all this, imagine missing this opportunity to capitalize on all this free traffic, all this free advertising, all this free attention, because we cared what somebody thought, or because we had some limiting belief that we couldn't shake or we weren't willing to face from our childhood that somebody else planted inside of us. And it's not even really what we believe. I mean, for me, a lot of my adulthood, especially in my late 30s and now moving into my 40s, is really about teasing apart what are my beliefs and what are somebody else's belief that was implanted inside of me from an early age. Do I really believe that? Do I really think that? Do I really want that? Right? Sometimes tradition and things of that nature can be very sneaky and make us, we can be sort of gaslighted into, well, we need to take pride in that, when really it's something that we really don't want in our lives. And so entrepreneurship gives us an opportunity to be able to bump up against a lot of things that create real change. And the worst thing that we can do is when we do bump up against some of those limiting beliefs or opportunities to grow, to run to the next guru or run to the next thing, or run to the next shiny object. Shiny object syndrome is not only a bad thing because it can rob you of all your money, right? I mean, shiny object syndrome and that doesn't just happen in our industry, people jumping from guru to guru or whatever. It also happens in everything. Shiny object syndrome with social media. It's our search for dopamine, right? Instead of just sitting in developing developing and being okay with delayed gratification and delayed dopamine after hard work and achievement. But it also, when we jump from thing to thing and don't sit with the feelings of what these challenges happen, go ahead, take your time or do whatever you need to do. Or Amanda, if you need to hop off, you can as well. No worries. I'm just talking to the people here. And dadgummit, I'm going to throw my hat because I've been so relaxed from your wonderful energy here this morning. I haven't even been excited enough to throw my damn hat. I got another hat sitting around here. I think I'm going to do a twofer. Get out of here. But entrepreneurship gives us an opportunity, just like sobriety did for me and recovery, to bump up against some pretty hardcore beliefs that we can change, or at least begin the process of change if we choose to face them. And I just love that you are doing so much of that while also finding your unique message and your unique voice inside of your content and inside of your business, and doing what feels right for you, Amanda. It's worth it to grow your business a little bit slower, but do it in that way rather than to chase fast, fake success that's not going to be sustainable. So I see that you're adjusting. I know you have things going on there in your home. You're a busy entrepreneur. You're a mom, you're a wife, all the things. Thank you for joining us this morning. It's been a pleasure to have you, your wonderful energy, your amazing knowledge and experience. And come back and see me in the future and keep us posted on your journey, okay?
Yes, absolutely. Dave, I just want to thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for creating this community. It has been life-changing for me. And yes, just like you said, little by little, staying true to who I am and loving this whole experience. There's always something to look forward to. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you for saying those kind words, and have a fantastic day. Stay legendary, my friend.
Yeah, you too.
All right. See ya. All right, my friends, you can find Amanda over on wildflowerthoughts.com. on Instagram, wildflowerthoughts.co. You can also find her on Facebook, Amanda Lee, Leigh, Soul Teacher. Okay, you can find her on both of those places. Thank you all, my dear friends, for your wonderful and warm and validating and affirming comments this morning. As always, it makes the show just a real pleasure. It gives us so much energy and validation. And this is what this community, this is the power and benefit of having a community that we can validate each other, that we can seek validation from the right people instead of the wrong people, right? All of the people in your life have a specific role. And sometimes we run into trouble when we try to get a need met from a person who can't meet that need. And with your business, it is important to understand that your friends and family are not going to be able to meet the need for validating what you're doing. They don't understand it. They don't get it. To them, it's confusing. They're scared for you. They may think that you're wasting your time. Whatever. Honestly, their opinions are a projection of whatever they feel or believe about what they can do onto you. And so it's important that we have this community. And that, again, is the power of community, because we can get our needs for validation and excitement and support met from other people on the journey who get it, right? Who understand what the hell we're up to here. And all of this crazy talk makes perfect sense. With that being said, my friends, have a fantastic weekend. We've got a mastermind coming up next weekend. I know already, we just had one happening in October. This is our winter mastermind. It's happening December 8th, 9th, and 10th, whatever that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I think it's the 8th, 9th, and 10th. It's next week. That's the bottom line. Happy December. This is going to be an amazing holiday season for a lot of people in our community. And if it's not the case for you, you're just getting started, make 2024 the best year of your life. Make next holiday season of 2024 the best holiday season of your life. I mean, this is a perfect time to dig your heels in and say, I got this. I'm doing this. This is the way in which I'm going to change mine and my family's future by taking my financial situation into my own hands instead of relying on somebody else. And for God's sakes, learn these skills somewhere. I mean, if you don't learn them here, we are, of course, biased to our community, our support, our information, our people. But if you can find somebody else out there in the world who can teach you these skills and you like them better than us, by all means, I think we need to just learn these skills. They are imperative. It's imperative that you know how to be on video in 2023 and 2024. It's imperative that you know how to navigate social media. It's imperative that you know how to make money from social media and use it instead of it using you. It's imperative that you are not, that your boss is not your owner, that we are not owned by corporations, that we have some freedom and flexibility to live our lives the way that we want to live them. It is imperative that you have some control over, what happens in your life, that you do not have to stay in a job just because they have good insurance. I mean, how many times have you or your parents said that? I know I heard that countless times growing up. Well, the job is sucking everything out of your father, but they've got good insurance. It's like, okay, is there no other way to get insurance? I mean, is even having insurance worth, he's going to die, here at 40. My grandfather, died at 57. He just had retired and he died at 57. This was back when I was a very young boy, but my God, I mean, we have to really think about, what are we working so hard for, right? Let's work smart, not hard. And the strategies, skill sets, business models that we're teaching there are the best that we know. And in 15 years, I've found no better way to have a business, build a business. It's pandemic proof as much as any business out there. And that's proven in the numbers in which we've grown over the past few years, while so much of society experienced a detrimental, life-changing, devastating situation, and relied on the government for a pathetic little check that was just a real travesty for a lot of American families and, of course, people around the world. So it's important. It's worth it. But most importantly, you're worth it. Don't give up before the miracle happens, my friends. Use today and this weekend to do something important and empowering for you and your business and your future. And if you're going to be in Orlando next week, the mastermind, I can't wait to meet you. Get out of here, my friends. Have a fantastic Friday and a great weekend. Stay legendary. Peace.